There are so many food products like drinks and food that contain high fructose corn syrup. It is one of the biggest ingredients that you'll find in many of these foods, and yet we consume them every day. Some that we don't even think has high fructose corn syrup in them has high fructose corn syrup. There's a lot of corn that is grown on a regular basis. And with all this corn, although we may think it's just designed for food and to feed to livestock and to be used as an added meal source of starch on our plate, a lot of it is broke down and used for high fructose corn syrup. There are many dangers that come with high fructose corn syrup, and because of its composition, it's not readily used or easy to digest because the chemical leptin that tells our brain that we are full cannot read that we are done eating this high fructose corn syrup. And yet a lot of it is grown from acres and acres of land so that this high fructose corn syrup can be produced. It is such an unimaginable amount of corn that is used to be able to produce this chemical that is put in the foods that we consume every day. And yet it's a secret to how the high fructose corn syrup is produced that no one, even journalists, are not allowed into the factories to be able to see how high fructose corn syrup is produced. Yet it is found in most of the food that we eat today. Not only do we consume it, we also feed it to our children. And although we're not familiar with how it is digested in the body, if you would do just a little research, you will see that high fructose corn syrup cannot even be digested because it does not contain the chemical compounds or ability to be able to be read by the hormone leptin that tells your brain that you no longer need to eat anymore. And this government in which we live under, the Federal Drug Administration, the FDA, approves of this chemical being included in the food that you consume. And in doing so, it is making so many of us sick because along with the sugars that we consume, added with the high fructose corn syrup, is the leading cause of issues like diabetes, high blood pressure, and cholesterol issues that are collected inside our arteries on a regular basis. It's one of the reasons why juvenile diabetes is growing faster and faster. There was a time when it was unheard of that a child would have diabetes, yet we're hearing about cases happening every day. You may even know or have encountered a child that have had diabetes. A lot of it could be a direct result of them consuming high fructose corn syrup in their drinks, as well as the snacks and foods that we eat, and now maybe even included in a lot of foods that you put on your table to do so. The digestive process starts from when we first eat food, we chew it up, and it mixes in our mouth, and we swallow it. And as it goes down our esophagus, there are things inside of our esophagus that allows our body to read that we have just consumed some foods. So by the time it goes all the way down and reaches into our stomach, the body starts to release digestive juices like insulin and bile, so it can start to break the food down inside of our stomach. But if we're consuming foods like high fructose corn syrup, our body is not going to be able to read what it is that it's supposed to, so that it can send the proper signals to our brain to let us know that we no longer need to eat anymore, and the body can continue doing the work necessary to be able to digest the food that we have just eaten. high fructose corn syrup sends a false sense that we need to eat more because we're not getting the message that we no longer need to eat. So it leads to other issues on top of diabetes and high blood pressure, issues of obesity, visceral fat, and fat all over our body. In fact, it has now been known that sugar is the leading cause of fat development in the body. It leads to fatty liver, issues with our pancreas, toxins building up in our colon, and the need to have these things flushed out of our body. A lot of times there's found that high fructose corn syrup, one of those things, because it is not absorbed in the body like your typical sugars that you get from cane sugar or fructose, which comes from sugars from fruit and vegetables and things of that nature. And so anything that is left in the body that's causing the body to become toxic, because most of your immune system is in your intestines and in your gut, the things that are in there can lead to issues where whenever you're trying to fight an illness or disease, because of this high fructose corn syrup, you will not be able to fight any types of antibodies or anything that come into your body that needs to be fought off. And then it leaves your body through your large intestine, almost in this intact, but of course it's mixed into other things the way it did when it came in, because again, your body cannot digest high fructose corn syrup because it does not recognize it. How many of you have eaten corn and noticed it comes out looking exactly the same way it went in? Even our children, we're feeding it to our children, not knowing. Again, with the digestive process starting at the beginning, their system has to now be prepared to be able to start breaking this food down early. It has to go through the entire body and can cause issues with their livers and pancreas early. Something that we do not want, because of course, even down to what we're dealing with currently with this COVID issue, you want your immune system to be intact. And part of that is you need to reduce the amount of high fructose corn syrup that you are putting into your body. I want you to consider maybe reducing or at some point eliminating the consumption of high fructose corn syrup, so that you can not only lend a good immune system to yourself, but also to your children and the rest of your family as well. These things are not good for us, and if you want to have a fighting chance, I need you to do so. Thank you for watching.